Well, hello everyone. It's March 11th, 2018. This is a Sunday morning and we're working calves. So we started shooting this video after we were nearly done. We worked 25 calves and what we shoot on this video was just the last 7. From the time we got up in the morning, the weather was 70 degrees or so and it was very humid and sultry and so forth, but by the time we're working these calves, the wind has switched to the north and it's really picked up and it's cooled down quite a bit. So it's actually quite comfortable to be out here working these calves. So we're under the big shed there where we got our chute and alleyway and all of that. And we've already, of course, gathered the cows and sorted cows from calves. And as I said, this is just the last 7 head that we're working this morning. We had filmed with the drone gathering of the cattle this morning, or so we thought. So we had really just a perfect execution of gathering the cows and calves this morning. It went without a hitch. And I had the drone up in the air, and I thought I was videotaping the whole thing, but as it turns out, I forgot to turn the camera on. So we didn't get any footage of that. It would have been kind of cool if we had, but we didn't. So unfortunately. So last week we sold 105 calves. We sold 10 up at Buffalo and we sold the rest in at Bryan. And they all sold real well. So really pleased with that. And it's nice to have all of last year's cattle now cleaned up. All of last year's calves now been sold. So getting this year's calves worked. This is the cattle we keep out in the east pasture. So there's as I said, 25 calves we worked today. That's all the calves in that pasture at this moment. We've got probably another 70 head to work, and we'll get Mr. Luke over here hopefully this next week, and we'll work the calves that haven't been worked in the middle pasture and the calves that haven't been worked in the east pasture. As you can see from the shot here, things are turning green. You can see that the grass is green, and back behind you can see that the leaves are coming on the trees. It really is starting to feel like springtime and starting to look like springtime. And trying to get our springtime chores done. So we've got to get some herbicide put on our pastures. We've got to get some fertilizer spread. So this is a really busy time of the year, and our to-do list is always growing, and seems like there's never quite enough time to get it all done. So Michelle and I have worked cattle together now for enough years that we really have our system down pretty well. And as you've watched her here, you see she's very, very good on that head gate. She hardly ever misses a calf, and that's the most important thing she has to do, and she always does it really, really well. And we had some of them that hit that head gate pretty hard this morning, but she didn't miss any. So it all goes pretty smoothly here for the most part. It's the 24th out of 25 calves where it all kind of goes awry. This calf chute, we've had this calf chute for, I guess, 13, 14 years. And we're used to it, we're accustomed to it, we know its strengths and weaknesses, and we're pretty happy to work with it. We're not fast, but we're careful, and we're certainly safety conscious. So the main thing is nobody gets hurt, no cattle get hurt, and take your time and try to get it done. There is a risk with this chute that calves can go out the top of it. So when the calves get a certain size, there is some chance they can take the shot at going out the top of the chute. And that's what happens here on calf number 24. Up until that point, everybody had just flowed through smoothly. These calves are big, so we've got calves in here weighing up to 300 pounds, and certainly it's time for us to have had them worked. I like working the bigger calves because they fit this chute. Working a newborn calf or calf that's just a couple weeks old is difficult in this calf chute because they don't fit it. They're too small. But get a calf up around 200 pounds or so, and they just fit this thing perfectly, and it's real easy to work them in here. But if they get too big, it's supposed to handle calves up to about 400 pounds. If they get above that, then it's not going to work very well at all. But these calves are kind of pushing the limit, a few of them, and the one big old heifer calf there, she finds a way out the top here in a little bit. All right, so I think this is the last calf we worked before that heifer that finds her way out the top. I don't know how many bull calves we worked today, but it certainly was more than half the calves. So we obviously got a good steer calf crop this year, and this is probably one of the few years where I can remember counting more steers than heifers in our calves. But that's a good thing. We'll appreciate that. Not so much when we're doing the castration, but on the market side, we'll appreciate that this next spring when we go to sell them. All right, so I'll just be quiet here and sit back and watch what happens after this calf leaves the chute, and we try to get the next one in. All right, so we lost one out the top there. Obviously, if you were listening closely, you may have heard a word or two that probably shouldn't have been spoken there, but you get caught up in the heat of the moment and things are said. So this is the 25th out of 25 calves, and so we're working him, and then we're going to turn him out. When we're castrating these calves, we're using a little extra caution. Given their larger size, we're using a rope to tie that hind leg up so that nobody gets kicked. And it takes a little time to do this, but it really makes it safer and takes a lot of the stress out of it. We'll just put her in a big chute.
Big chute doesn't have a handle.
It's all right. You ready to let him out? All right, if you're wondering what we did with that number 25, or that last one that got out, here she is. We're going to let her out now.